Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Guardians of the Galaxy. First appearance, Star-Lord Peter Quill. This is a Walmart exclusive, and Walmart, of course, fumbled when it came to this figure in particular. Pre-orders were delayed, and then some people in parts of the country got it, and then other people, it was just delayed. Then it became in stock, and people ordered that, and then that got canceled. And then original orders, some got canceled, some did ship out. It was a complete mess. So shout out to Mark on Twitter. He actually had one available for sale when I reached out, sent out a tweet, said, hey, if anybody has it, I would like to buy it off of you. So he had one, and he shipped out to me, so I really appreciate it, which is pretty cool. Let's hear from this video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. But before we get into today's figures, let's take a minute and teleport to Teleria, where the events of today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, takes place. Raid Shadow Legends is completely free to play on mobile and PC. It's the latest hit game with over 80 million downloads already. You'll have access to over 700 unique champions to collect from various factions. There are billions of ways to build up and customize your champions with new updates every single month. You can use tons of different strategies to complete endless challenges such as bosses, dungeons, the Doom Tower, and much more. Personally, I like that you can experience the game at your own pace. You can play casually and enjoy the PC quality graphics, or compete against millions of other players to show off your skills in the PvP arena. The game has an incredible lore which you can explore through Raid, Call of the Arbiter, a new limited series that tells you more about the characters as well as their backgrounds. Raid will be adding some of these new characters from the series as champions you can play with in-game. Artak, the first one, is a mighty orc warlord. What's even more exciting is that Artak will be available to everyone for free. All you have to do is log into Raid for 7 days between now and July 24th. Also recommend accomplishing the tutorials. Make sure to click the link and scan the QR code on screen. Using this code will give new players a free starter pack with a champion and some cool in-game loot. Enjoy playing, and let's get back to the video. Back to Star-Lord here. We look at the package. It does say Guardians of the Galaxy. However, this version of Star-Lord Peter Quill was not part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That happened later on with a completely different look to Star-Lord, which is here. Now, this version of Star-Lord has only had 2 different releases. This is the one from the Entertainment Earth exclusive Guardians of the Galaxy box set, and there is the other one, the original one that was released in the Thanos Imperative box set, which I was thinking, this is the only comic Star-Lord figure I have. That's not true, because I have that Thanos Imperative set. I've never opened it. And in fact, this Guardians of the Galaxy box set, I opened that box set specifically just to pull out this Star-Lord comic figure so we can do a comparison in this video, which I a lot regret having opened it, because it's just sealed in the box, and now I've opened it and have it out of the package. Anyway, different version of Star-Lord. Now, I could be wrong on this, and some of you guys will have to correct me on this, because I don't want to say something and then be wrong. I've done that many times. I don't like doing it. Not a fan. But this version of Star-Lord, it being its first appearance, at some point, they kind of retconned the entire look of this Star-Lord to a different Earth, Earth 791. Again, I don't really know the reason for that, other than to keep the kind of this particular comic look is what, people really know him as, and especially because of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and pulling inspiration from that 2008 comic run of Guardians of the Galaxy, where Star-Lord, is part of that team. But anyway, here is the first appearance Star-Lord figure, as announced by Johnny Gargano, WWE superstar, during, I think it was Hasbro PulseCon, or it was during one of the events. Johnny Gargano actually got to announce the figure, as he named his son Quill. So as a shout out and nod to Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, they actually let him do the announcement of this figure, which is really cool. He comes with a couple of different accessories. We got extra set of hands. So out of the package, he has a fist on the right and a trigger hand on the left. In package, we get the right trigger hand, and then we get the left fist. And then he comes with the sword, and he comes with the blaster. None of these things are new. We've seen them before. But this belt on him, of course, is new. The head is new. The body is the Vulcan body, which it holds up pretty well, except the paint doesn't hold up so well on some of the areas. Looking at the box, we see that the artwork on the side looking pretty good, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at the figure. Okay, so taking a closer look at the Star-Lord figure, here is the head sculpt, and that looks pretty good. He kind of has that signature helmet style. We get kind of that flame logo effect that is kind of for Guardians of the Galaxy, as you could see there on the comic version. I did not bring out an MCU version, as the two are wildly different. But looking at the two, the first comic one is actually just a tad bit taller, surprisingly. But this new one definitely is nice because, you know, we have pinless body now and everything. But I want to show you guys here the white paint on his sides. As you can see in the grooves of some of the muscle definition, the paint just didn't quite hit and stick, as you could see on the other arm as well. And then on the leg too. On the other leg, it just kind of sucks. It didn't quite come out the way I would have hoped. On the back, it doesn't look too bad. There's a little tiny bit of blue paint rub or something right there. It's not too bad. And then on the front, it doesn't look like we have any issues. So it's really on the arms and then both legs, unfortunately. Looking at the accessories, again, we just get this sword. We've seen this sword before, but the blade is a nice silver color. And then his blaster is a dull gray plastic. Looks like a 3D printed gray resin color. Not a whole lot going for it, but it does have a holster here. That is part of this belt there. That is a floating piece that you can kind of move around as you like. But that is the Star-Lord figure. Now let's go ahead and see his articulation. Okay, so Star-Lord can look all the way down. He can look all the way up. The head is on a disc hinge, so you get a lot of really good movement. As far as pivot goes, there's a tiny little bit in there, which is good. You get a full rotation in that head. Of course, you can get the shoulder, the arms to go straight on out like so. Full rotation in there. There is the butterfly shoulder, but it doesn't get a whole lot. Now, I know there can be some modding going on inside the torso that will allow the arm to go back quite a bit more. That is not something that I know how to do or would do, but I do know that for customizers and stuff, that is something that is possible. Shout out to Rick, Art with Toys. I know he's done it a bunch to the Black Panther figure, which allows for a lot more motion. Butterfly coming front, we do get a little bit of crossbody in there. It's not a huge amount, but there definitely is some. We get an upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed pinless elbow, so that much bend there at the elbow, wrist swivel, and they do hinge. The trigger finger hands, the holding hands, have the vertical hinge, which is the correct weapon wielding hand, which is awesome. The fists have the standard horizontal hinge, as you can see there. So it's nice that they gave us the correctly hinged hands to go with his weapons. He can crunch forward that much. He can go back that much there. You do have the waist swivel in there. Depending on where the belt is, it'll kind of get in the way. But nice swivel there. I forgot, Vulcan does not have drop-down hips, by the way. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that far, which is really good. Leg doesn't really go back, or if anything, just a tiny, tiny bit. You have an upper thigh cut in there. A double-jointed knee. These ones are very, very stiff, so I kind of have to break it in a little bit. But that much bend there at the pinless knee. You do have a calf swivel there. The gold paint on front doesn't completely match the color of the plastic, but it's close. The swivel at that calf, foot hinges all the way down, a little bit of hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Good articulation, could be better, especially with the butterfly, but it definitely is better than some of the older bodies that we got. It's a huge improvement to the Bucky cap, as this will now be kind of that standard body that we get with comic book figures. At one point, this figure will become overused and we will be complaining about it, but for now it still is really nice and I'm still really liking it. Okay, so for our Star-Lord comparisons here, I did bring out an MCU version. That way we can kind of see each helmeted look for Star-Lord. And you guys let me know, what would you think if we got another Star-Lord comic figure similar to kind of his comic book look that kind of matches the MCU look? It would have been after he kind of had this look. It was more of a modern kind of take on Star-Lord where he kind of looks similar to his MCU counterpart. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Would you like to see a figure of that? Or maybe when Kitty Pryde took on the Star-Lord mantle? If I'm not mistaken, she did lead the Guardians of the Galaxy, but did she take the Star-Lord name? I thought she did, and I could be wrong on that, but she had like the red leather jacket and everything like that going on. Maybe they would do a figure like that. Not really sure. We got we've gotten a couple of Guardians of the Galaxy figures, right? The Ronan the Accuser, we got the Yondu figure, and then we have the upcoming Moondragon and Drax. But some of those figures, while they're labeled as Guardians of the Galaxy, they're not really Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, Yondu is, because he was an original Guardian of the Galaxy, whereas Star-Lord and stuff like that would take on kind of the newer stuff. Ronan being in Guardians of the Galaxy comic books, I guess that makes sense. But this version of Star-Lord really isn't tied to Guardians of the Galaxy, but as marketing would have it, it's Star-Lord, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. It makes sense, right? But just know that it's not really kind of one and the same. It was before he was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think that throws everything off. But it's cool to get more classic designs for characters, because this was his look, you know, from the first appearance in 1976. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite look for Star-Lord? I actually really like this version. This version is cool, but I think just the figure itself, the body is a little dated now. But I think it was a solid release, especially at the time of it. And, you know, we got some cool things going on, like the buckles on the boots were even painted and everything like that. We never got a full Guardians of the Galaxy team in this look, although this does match the rocket that came in that box set. But yeah, you guys let me know down in the comments below which is your favorite out of these Star-Lord figures. And for the hell of it, here we have the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy releases. We have the Target exclusive Yondu, the Amazon exclusive Ronan the Accuser, the Walmart exclusive Star-Lord, and then the Moondragon Drax 2-pack is actually going to be exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. Was it Hasbro Pulse or was it Fan Channel? I believe it was Hasbro Pulse. So none of these comic Guardians figures have had a mass retail release, which is a little unfortunate. And I think Star-Lord being one is probably going to be one of the more popular ones, and then Walmart just really dropped the ball on it. It's just unfortunate. Even recently, the Retro Kraven figure went in stock, but we don't know what's going on with pre-orders right now, so it's just difficult and it's unfortunate. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. Did you guys get your pre-order in from Walmart? Did that in-stock time, if you ordered, did that ever come in? Let me know your experience with it, because hopefully we don't have any more problems with Walmart exclusive figures, because it's always a crapshoot on whether or not they're going to show up. If they end up in stores or not, or if they do, it's months and months later down the road, or always ends up getting a bunch of stock and people on the East Coast are lucky and can get them for really cheap. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.